the premises of the acting director for National Theatre. I'm talking about Mr. Henry Herbert's mom, our brother and friend. He was here sometime last year, and we're going back to him again. We are calling or speaking to the agency heads to find out their plans for this year. Yeah, after going through all that they went through last year, what do they have for the various agencies this year? And right on phone now is Mr. Henry Herbert's mom. He is the director acting for the National Theatre. Hello, sir.
Hi, Kwame.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you. How are you too?
I'm also doing amazing here, and I think it's right for me to say Happy New Year to you.
Many, many happy returns, my brother.
Great. How did last year go for you at the agency, at the National Theatre?
Quite an interesting one, if you ask me. I think I was in your studios not too long ago, after somewhere last year.
Yeah.
And I talked to you about some of the things we had to do. For me, it was an interesting challenge. I walked in knowing nothing about the place, no one. But it was good, spending time to bond with people and to motivate them. And I think that together with my management team, we managed to bring the staff to a point where they believed in themselves again, and they saw the way forward in terms of what we could do. So you can see that a lot of energy was brought back to the place, and people walked in and out knowing that there was a good future for them. So if you ask me, it was one of the high points for us. One of the key things that we sought to do was to make the place welcoming again to the very many patrons who came in, and then our clients as well, which I thought we did a good job at. We worked hard enough, and we thought that at some point in time we could hear people actually feedback in terms of, well, something has changed that's positive. And so we managed to get the place to be a bit more welcoming than before. And for us, that was very good news. We spent a lot of time doing a lot of maintenance work, paying attention to what mattered to people who walked into our doors each time. We ensured that they came in and walked out happy, not having to complain about seats and air conditioning and the condition of the place, washrooms and all that. We did our very best. We did not achieve everything, but I thought that at least to a very large extent, I worked quite well with the management, and we were able to carry the staff along to make some of these changes. So last year was challenging in terms of fixing a lot of reputational issues. But at the end of the day, I think it got to a point where we started getting some good positive reviews. And that's, I think, will dovetail into this year.
Could you please paint a picture to us how 2026 is going to look like for National Theatre?
Well, 2026 will have
in terms
a lot of dynamics.
In terms of your plan for the theatre.
Yes, so 2026 will have a lot of dynamics. Well, a little bit about 2025. 2025, we spent a lot of good time to craft a strategic plan that is together with the board, and we managed to at least put a good plan together, which we will launch in this year. So kudos to the board chairperson and then the members of the board, together with a very good consultant from Madison Pine. We were able to get a good strategic plan together. I'm sure in the course of a year, you will be hearing of us. Will be inviting a couple of you to be a part of the launch and all that. So that's one clear vision and pathway for us for 2026. What's also big on our mind as far as 2026 is concerned is renovation.
Okay.
Renovation. So we've all been looking forward to this, and I think that the signs are clear now. We have started getting the stations from the Chinese team. So the embassy, the economic consular has been there together with his team. We've had some conversations. They've gone round the facility. They've asked for some information which we have shared with them. We're waiting for their review so they can come back and we know exactly when we expect some work to be done. At the same time, we're also looking at how to prepare ourselves, because as and when work starts, we would have to find some place to be for the time being. and then also how to work at still continuing to do business, even in the course of a renovation. So that is clear cut for us for 2026.
Mr. Mam, do we know the timelines for the execution of this project, as in when it's going to start, when it's going to end, so we know the industry knows how to navigate their own programs and other things?
Okay. So that's what actually we are working at. We do not know when it's going to start, but for sure this year it's going to start. So for those of us at the theater, what we've done is at least we know for a given that first quarter we would have full-scale business. So that's what we are working with. The rest of the quarters we know will be quite engaging. But as to exactly when, we have not been able to secure that. We still are working with the Chinese group to know when they would ask to, let's say, prepare for it. And that we will do a lot of communication about when we are clear with that. But this year, for sure, it's going to take place. As I said, we've had the economic counselor come already to the place with his team. We've had discussions in terms of what could be possible and what could not be, and what we need to do. So in terms of exactly when to start, it's a discussion that we would, we are still hoping to get into. But this year, for sure, it will take place.
Another one in the picture is the proposed Kumasi Theatre. Do you have any updates on that for us?
Unfortunately, I'm unable to say much about it beyond what has been announced in the budget. As it is now, it is going to be a place where they look for land, break ground, and then begin to look at how to get drawings and all that done. That has not been so far crystallized, so to speak. So as far as Kumasi is concerned, I will not be able to share much information beyond what has been announced in the budget. But that's also in the picture, and that's I've always been referring to. It's a manifesto promise. So once we've seen the renovation about to be delivered, we should be sure that within the lifetime of this government, surely the place will be secured for Kumasi, and possibly construction should start.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Henry Herbert Mam, and thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Mr. Mam is the acting executive director of the National Theatre. Just had him lay down his plans, or the theatre's plans for the year 2026. Yeah, we're looking forward to having or seeing a lot of projects in the industry. Here on Joe 99.7.
That's West African landscape fine. If I were outside, I probably would have been maybe more easy.
All right, let's go on the line again. Let's speak to the acting executive secretary of the Creative Arts Agency. Yes, Mr. Gideon Ayikwe is on the line right now. Let's talk to him now and find out what his plans are for the industry for this year. Good afternoon.
Hello, Kwame. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm very well. They're in high spirits, my brother.
Okay. And how is the agency going?
Oh, the agency is doing very, very well, considering how we met it. Thankfully, we are on our feet now. And so 2026 promises to be a fantastic year. Well, it was topsy-turvy. As you already know, last year we were pretty handicapped. It took us several months before we could even attain an office space to work from. And then when we assumed office and started work, it turned out that, our predecessor, virtually did nothing administratively. We met an empty space, if I may, because there was absolutely nothing. There was no handing over, absolutely nothing. All social media, credentials, they refused to give it to us. There was nothing like a website that we can continue working with. Absolutely no accounts to even work with. There was nothing. No address, no emails, nothing. So we had to start from scratch. Make sure that at least we establish the office administratively make sure everything is working before we could do other things. In the midst of that handicap, I mean, we still went ahead and did a lot of things as far as the president's promises and manifesto is concerned. And so we think that, yes, we went through a lot of turmoil, but we did quite well, considering, how, aptly, wanting, I mean, we were at the time. And so I think that, yes, we have done well. We have established everything that we lacked. Our website currently, NITA has given us about a month to run it, test it before we can outdoor it. And so hopefully by the end of this month, we will outdoor it. Now, if you remember, there has been a conversation about, getting the data as far as the creative space is concerned. This is also something that we have worked on feverishly. We've done the framework. The Act mandates us to register every enterprise under the creative, and through this, we'll get to have complete knowledge of the data that we're dealing with. Now, we have done everything together with the Ministry of Finance. When it comes to registration and licensing, it involves fees and charges, and so you cannot unilaterally just get up and do what you want. And so we went to the Ministry of Finance to help us to establish what it has to be established, and then forward it to Parliament for approval, and then we'll start. Now, we've done the framework. Everything has been done. What we're going to do now, which we're already in the process, is to try and do a lot of sensitization this year. There'll be workshops. It will be on social media. It will be on traditional media. We've done the videos. We've done voices, educating people on why the registration regime, why they must belong to the Creative Arts Agency. And so very soon you'll be seeing this flooding all over the place. And then we know that once we have educated them enough, then we can now go ahead and start the registration process when it's been okayed by Parliament. So we're on course, and then we intend that, this year, 2026, we're going to massively roll every bit of project that we have that we couldn't, for some reason, execute last year. We're going to do it this year. Launch, and then later, the program itself. We launched them in the program itself. We have quite a number of them lined up as far as the president's vision is concerned, Kwame.
Could you run us through a number of them, a couple of them? Hello, Gideon?
Hello, Kwame.
Yes, I was asking if you could run us through a couple of them, these projects you're talking about.
Right. So for 2026, we have something we call Inspire the Creative in Me, which is an empowering initiative dedicated to empowering young and budding Ghanaian talents through mentorship programs. It will be run in schools and then communities from the Northern Belt, Middle Belt, and Southern Belt. Note that we've been tasked to get officers across the country, in every region, in every district. But then we will start strategically from the Northern Belt, Middle Belt, and the Southern Belt. And then we also have something we call the Grow the Artist in Me, which is also a human resource-based project in the form of workshops and master classes that will be dedicated to building the human resource capacities of different stakeholders within the arts ecosystem. It would also create platforms for networking and investment for the sector. Now, there's one we call the Arts Beyond Borders. Now, this will be a platform dedicated to offering visual artists the opportunity for exhibition and networking. Will run on monthly basis and create platform for selected number of local artists and at least one foreign artist to mount exhibitions. Okay. It will be a month-long exhibition that would run to help in developing new talents, and then this will also run in national galleries across the country. Now, a flagship one that would come is the High Schools Creative Contest. High Schools Creative Contest. Now, this will be an annual students' contest designed to be held on termly basis with focus on different forms of the arts. It shall begin with a launch and then the workshop itself. And then the contest will be in two major phases. a breakdown of which is quite elaborate. But then basically to try and get the interest of our students right from the basics. And then we have something called the Creative Arts Festival.
Before you move, before you go to the Creative Arts Festival, the high school creatives contest, is it going to be like a math and science quiz version?
Like the math and science quiz is, but then it will come in various disciplines. You know, when we go for intercore, we have various disciplines that will come in that direction. So everything creative that we can associate ourselves with, you find the students starting to contest in it from that level.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we have the Creative Arts Festival, which will be like a week-long event. Indeed, in our quest to help reinforce the links between artistic creations and society, encourage greater awareness and the diversity of artistic expressions. We're also going to highlight the contributions of artists, to sustainable development. This will open the way, create an avenue to connect, the respective art disciplines, exchange of ideas, business opportunities, dialogues, workshops here and there. So you find all creatives coming in to play a part, and this will run for a week, and then we'll climax it with a huge concert involving Ghanaian artists. Now, once this becomes successful, then we can look at going intra-Africa. So we look at this one first for Ghana.
I love how you emphasized Ghanaian artists.
Yes. We will deal with Ghanaian artists, project our own first before we look elsewhere. Okay. We're also bent on this one. We meant to do this last year, but unfortunately, December was too cramped up. And so this year we're making way to do the High Life Festival to promote Ghanaian high life the way UNESCO is seeing it. High Life Festival, and the onus is on us, the Creative Arts Agency, to do that. And we cannot fail but try and execute it. So this will be there. Fortunately, we have the European Union Commission coming to partner with us for some of these programs. They are very interested in it. Wow. We gave them a catalog of what we have, and then they're interested in partnering with us on some of these things. So we're on track.
Okay.
And also, just last week, we had a meeting with the United States. For the first time in many, many, many years, the United States is having a cultural attaché now at the embassy.
Okay.
Now, yes.
They have an attaché at the embassy in Accra, right?
Yes.
But we don't have attachés in the other embassies across the world. Okay.
No, we don't.
Okay.
But the United States Embassy hasn't had one even for a while, but they have one now who has just come in, yes.
Great.
And the first thing they did was to look for the Creative Arts Agency.
All right.
So they called us into a meeting. We had a very fruitful meeting, and then they looked at the projects that we have. And incidentally, everybody and where their interest is. You remember we spoke about the Creative Arts Awards.
Yes. You mentioned that the last time
which we are calling the Create Honors. The United States Embassy is interested in that, and they're partnering us to do it. We're likely to launch it before March, and then the event itself will come on after the World Cup. We'll fix the date. Once we launch it, the date is not cast in stone. We'll fix the date. We don't want to do anything to conflict with the World Cup for them to take the euphoria away from us. So we'll do that. And this is so key. This is so dear to us that there has never been any time anywhere in the world. Yes. This is coming from Ghana. This is coming from Creative Arts Agency.
Create honors.
This is something that we'll do. You once we launch it, you will get to know the various categories that are going to be awarded. And we hope that this will be successful, and that we'll do it every year to honor our creatives in that manner. You would also know that the welfare issues and so on and so forth when it comes to the creatives is also prime. You may have been aware that the president himself puts his hand in his pocket to try and sort people out when it comes to going to buy medicines, going to where you stay and all that. It is the job of the Creative Arts Agency to do this. Fortunately, the LI is in advanced stage. The last time I spoke to you, the LI was with Attorney Generals. They came to us with certain questions, certain queries for us to clarify some of the terms in the act, and so we answered everything. We have sent that to them, which they're now taking it to Parliament. We're hoping that our superiors will follow it up, hasten it, and then it is passed. The president pledged in the budget 20 million Ghana cedis to the Creative Arts Agency. Yes, it is not for the agency and its administrative work. It is for the fund, the Creative Arts Fund. And if Parliament does not pass it, that is fruitless. That cannot be implemented. So Parliament must pass it for us to be able to do it. We've also done the framework and everything for the Creative Arts levy, which will feed the fund. Just like you have the Tourism Development Levy, you have the Creative Arts Levy, which will be charged to be a 1% charge on every transaction involving every enterprise or any enterprise. So this one goes into the fund, and whatever accrues is what will come back to feed the creative arts sector. Now
before you move on, before you move on, have you also factored in workshops and engagement with stakeholders for them to understand what this means?
Oh yes, this is part of the plan. Even before it is passed, it is part of our plan. I just don't have the time to break everything down. But when I tell you about sensitization and workshops, all are part of it. We'll start with the media, so the media can ask questions and understand it. Because the media that will propagate it for us. So we'll meet the media and explain everything to the media, and then we'll get to meet every stakeholder, break it down to them, let them ask questions, because they must understand. You see, a lot of people think that when it comes to the creative arts, it is just about music, film, and fashion. No, there's a lot more. All these people must know where they stand, especially accessing the fund. So we must educate them how you even qualify to access the fund and all that. And all this will come through a lot of workshops, a lot of conferences. Make sure that people understand the whole system before we take off. And then once we have done that, we'll also put them on our various social media platforms for you to have access to it and be able to understand it. Our website is going to be very interactive. If you post questions, you'll get answers almost immediately. Everything that your query is, you get answers to it very, And so once we start, they'll be fed well, Kwame.
What is your web address? Gideon?
Hello.
What is your website address?
Our website address.
Yes, please.
Hello, Kwame.
Yes, please.
CAA.gov.gh. But the website is not established yet because we are currently testing it. Yes, NITA. We have to test it for NITA to get the approval and give it to us before we can send it online.
That's okay. That's okay. But does your board now have a chair? A chairman?
Yes, we have a chair. Fortunately, we had our very first meeting last Thursday. It was a fantastic meeting. Everybody was there. We're going to have another meeting coming Thursday. Committees, there has to be committees within the board, and the strength of the committees must be both from the board and outside the board. We have already done that. It was on the agenda. We've already done that. And so next week, we're going to have these committees come in and introduce themselves to everybody, and then we'll start serious work. Now, what they intend doing is to also meet all stakeholders as far as the Creative Arts Agency is concerned. I'm talking about domains under the Creative Arts Agency. Get to understand them, get to know what their needs and wants are and how they may help as a board. So that's what that's
so
where we are now.
Who is the board chairman or chairperson?
He's called Anthony Obeng Afrani. Anthony Obeng Afrani. He's a writer.
Obeng Afrani.
Yes.
Okay, so Anthony Obeng Afrani is the board chair for CAA.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Gideon Ayikwe. We appreciate your time this afternoon on Showbiz A to Z. And I'm just praying that all the things you've listed, at least about 90%, is achieved for the year. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so very much, Kwame. And yes, I forgot to mention that we also have one. I think the last time I came in, we spoke about it. Our project for the various juvenile incarceration centers. Did I mention that to you?
Please come again.
Our project for the juvenile incarceration centers, the Bostal institutions.
No, I'm not sure you mentioned that here.
Okay. So what it is that quite a number of creatives came to us and they're offering their services. So we went to see the Interior Minister and had a conversation with him. He was very enthused about it because he fell in line with the President's project at the various prisons. We're going to, together with the Ghana Education Services, if it materializes, then we would have established places at the various institutions where we train the inmates. We train the inmates for them to be able to come out with something good. Come out trained as creative people, so that you do not just go in incarcerated and probably end up with nothing or come back, taking other forms of behaviors and all that, and then also to eschew recidivism. So as much as possible, they will be trained in various forms of the creative arts. So by the time they come, they may even have work that could take care of them, Kwame.
Thank you once again, and God bless you for your time. All right. Okay. Gideon Ayikwe is acting executive secretary of the Creative Art Agency. You just heard him also tell us about his plans for the year for Creative Art Agency. Still here on Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. We are touching base with some heads of agencies and associations. You want to know their plans for this year.
I've been at you, sweet. She said she want me to run them. She said she want me to run am only. I got the reason you start to follow me now. All you want to know money, baby. When you lay on my sofa, belly, I get like come to me, yeah, oh, belly. There is a reason I want you to get it, but you take you my voice.
Next online is Mr. Rex Osumafo, known in showbiz circles as Rexoma. Yeah, he is the coordinator of the Black Star Experience. He's on phone now with us. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, Kwame. How are you too?
We're also doing well. I hope Black Star Experience is giving the needed experience.
Yes, we are on course and we are putting our stuff together.
Awesome. So last year we were at the Black Star Square, the monument. We were there for the launch of Black Star Experience, and you laid down a number of things, as in what you wanted to do for the year and then moving forward. If I should ask you, were you able to achieve the things that you listed that you would do last year?
Yes, thank you. Looking at our situation, when a new office is created, an office that was not in existence, you have to do a whole lot of foundational stuff, like setting up your website. It's a government office at the presidency, so you need to get your system right, put your whatever stuff, whatever. We went through all these things. When it comes to a project itself, we needed, because it's a new office, we needed to do our strategic plan and to even do a document to explain to people what the Black Star Experience is, because a lot of people, when they hear Blackstar, they thought it had something to do with football. So we wanted to do our documentation, our presentation to present to various government agencies, which we haven't even done many of them, but we a couple of them, and we needed to also make sure we do some 1 or 2 projects, and all the and we did not have a budget. And in doing stuff without money, you have to fall on private sector. And you look at Ghana, everybody who is in this country and then has ever gone around looking for sponsorship will tell you that sponsorship is the most difficult thing that you can get, because the companies are not that many and everybody goes to the same companies. So we need to think outside the box to make sure that we keep the ball rolling whilst we are planning. So the whole of 2025, as much as we did a lot of work, we also did a lot of planning going forward into 2024 and 2026. So if you ask me, yes, we were able to achieve a lot. We signed MOUs with different countries. We did a Creatives Connect. We brought all the 54 African countries to Ghana. We created a platform in collaboration with the AFC FTA, and it was very successful. We did it at the La Palm Royal Beach. It was very, very successful. And then we also did the Taste the Culture. So looking at our situation, not having budget and all that, and the things we were able to achieve, we believe that we did a lot of good and a lot of work. And we've done also some preparatory works projecting us into 2026. The whole 2025, if you remember, when I was appointed, the first thing I did was to go to Kumasi, speak to the regional minister in relation with the theater in Kumasi. We've gone very, very, very far. So we pray and hope that this year the sword will be cut for the project to start. We believe in a substance over form. So we want to talk less and do more. So we want to work in silence and let the outcome of our work speak for themselves. So far, so good.
Is it right for me to say that the Kumasi Theatre is under your care?
The Kumasi Theatre is going to be built through the Black Star Experience Secretariat. We started it, we designed it, we put it into our budget, and we are working towards it. So it's going to be built through the Office of President, but through our Secretariat.
Okay, so moving forward, if I have questions about that theatre, I come to you, right?
Yes, please do. You may not have no questions because you will just be happy. We are working in such a way that everybody in the industry will be happy. We are working, even yesterday, 3 days ago, I was in Kumasi, and then thankfully we've been allocated a very beautiful prime area to put the theater in, thanks to the Kumasi mayor, the regional minister, through Otumfuo, and we don't want to drink the soup before the fufu, so you just relax. Everything is going to be very, very fine.
Rex, you said early on that you had no budgets. What does that mean, please?
You know, our office was set up after the budget has been read. So we were not.
Oh, okay.
We were not included in the 2025 budget.
Okay.
You get what I mean?
Okay.
And one thing you have to understand is the Secretariat is not an agency on its own. The Secretariat is one of the arms within the presidency. So we don't have our own account. We are not like GTA or any of those agencies. So everything that we do through the Office of the President. So we initiate projects, and then we get approvals, and we move on with it. Don't forget that at the presidency, we also have chief director and everything. So we go through the same processes, and we get things done. So because the Secretariat did not have a budget, a lot of things that we wanted to do, we couldn't. Because whose money should they give you? But by the grace of God, 2026, we presented a budget. We went to Parliament to defend our budget. A lot of people think that when they say you've been allocated a budget in the money in the budget, then it means the money is there for you. It doesn't work that way. But at least now we have a budget. So if we're looking for 10 cities and they give you 1 city, you plan with the 1 city to achieve as much as possible. And in any case, our work is not to depend too much on government or GOG's money. Our work is to think outside the box and get private investment to help to develop some of the tourism cultural infrastructure, and then bring people to Ghana, do projects that will draw global attention on Ghana as a cultural capital of Africa and all those things. So our work is strategic. We are focusing more on infrastructural development and then also projects that are not in existence, and to highlight and draw global attention to Ghana. So we have a couple of projects that are coming up that are innovative, that did not exist before. So these are some of the things that we plan.
I will let you list a number of projects you are coming up with. But before that, does it mean that last year you didn't get any government assistance financially?
So, for example, if I'm traveling, we will apply. So government will buy you the ticket and your per diem to go and do specific something that will benefit the country going forward. But, for example, in Taste the Culture was completely driven by private capital because you don't have a budget. So, yes, government will support you here and there, but not necessarily. You don't have a, you see, for example, with your station, you do your annual budget. You know, you do your projections. You know that we are going to do this, we are going to do that, we are going to do this. We didn't have any such thing. So we couldn't plan based on any budget. So you can plan to do ABC, but with whose money? Because there's no budget line for you. So you need to think outside the box and get some of the things that you can do, get them done. You know, so that is what I can say for now.
Okay, let's get to 2026 and the things you want to do this year.
I've given you a gist, but I rather would not want to talk plenty about the things that we want to do. We rather will want to launch the things so that the surprise is there. Because, you know, when you come and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, then people come and say, but you said you were going to do this. I rather want to do something. They say, wow, that is how I want to approach.
But Rex, don't you think
I'm giving you a gist that we are going to cut the sword.
That lays the grounds for accountability, please.
I've told you that one. So at least that is something that I've given you a gist. That one alone is major. So I've given you a gist that a sword will be cut this year for the National Theatre in Kumasi. So it's a gist that is one of the projects. We want to do something that, you see, our work is not just event. So we want to do few events and concentrate on projects. You know, when you are doing a project and you don't have your hands on the funding, it is not right, especially a project that you are driving. If you don't have your hands on the funds of the project, I don't think it is reasonable for you to talk about it publicly, because then public will start to judge you that you said you are going to do this. I rather want to talk about projects.
Rex, but your office is a public office. It's one that needs to be held accountable for anything that you do. So if we are able to know what you want to do,
being accountable does not mean go and speak about things that you are cooking food. Okay, you are cooking a food. Before you tell people I'm going to give you a food, you have to be sure that you have all the ingredients to cook the food. You just don't go to public and say I'm going to cook a food whilst you are not sure of the ingredients. The one that I've given you a gist is I know it's coming through. There are projects that are, the project is done, we are looking for money left, right, center, and all that. Until maybe during the course of the year, we'll come out and say we are doing this, we are doing this, we are doing that. But for now, I've given you one gist. There is a project that we want to get all Ghanaians involved in some of the things that we're doing. We need a lot of stakeholder engagement to educate people about even what the Black Star experience is. Those things we will do. And for Kwame, remember there used to be choral music. You know, Ghana, every village, there's choral music there. The singing bands and the choirs and whatever. We want to take it to another level. So we want Ghanaians to own Black Star Experience. So we're going to launch choral music context. We do it from districts and goes to regions, and then we'll do the national one. It's a context. So choral music context, we want to brand it and take it to a different level. It will help to get people involved, young people and everybody involved. Kente has been recognized, and we are working something towards that. That is why I told you I don't want to talk too much about projects. I want to have my hands on the funding. Then I can confidently come and tell you that we are going to do something.
I love that.
Our budget.
I love that.
In our budget.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes,
our budget.
Yeah.
This Kente project I'm talking to you is not in our budget. So it is something that we planned outside our budget because even the budget you take it, if you take 10 CDs, they are giving you 2 CDs. So we want to focus on getting grants and funding outside GOG to implement some of our projects. So the budget that GOG will give us, we will use it to keep things going. For example, the theater is not going to be 100% GOG. It's going to be a PPP, private sector, and then that is what Black Star Experience is supposed to do. Because if we say we are going to, GOG has so many things to do. So if we're going to depend on GOG, we may start a project that may not finish in time. So that is our strategy. We will want to amplify an already existing project. Just like last year, we supported Pana Fest a bit. We supported few projects, and so we filmed a whole lot of Pana Fest because we needed the content to project Pana Fest.
How did you do them? Because in the first place, you don't have budget.
Kwame, I've used a word for 3 times, and I don't know. I think outside the box. Use private capital. So anytime I'm talking about a project that I don't have the budget for, we thought outside the box. We creatively find ways to get projects done, not necessarily drawing money from GOG, because we did not have
That's good. But one thing that tickled the fancy of creative art stakeholders was the fact that we heard the Black Star Experience was going to be national, every region, every district, and then even the various aspects of the creative industry, fashion, painting, sculpture, and all those areas of the creative industry. Are we going to fully experience that this year, 2026?
We can do some, we can't do all at once. Because if I tell you that I'm going to build you a 4-story or 5-story building, you need to build the foundation. Do first floor, second floor. Then you can go to 3rd floor, 5th floor. So I cannot stand here and say, because Black Star Experience is going to take care of all the things, this is our 2nd year. We are going to do everything overnight. That is not how it's going to happen. But you will see visibly that some serious things are happening. Just like last year, even though we did not have a budget, we teamed up. We did Creatives Connect. Kwame, you were there. Anybody who came there, it takes innovation, creativity to bring people around the globe to do such a project without having a budget. But we did it. It was very successful. We were able to do Creatives Taste the Culture with a private capital. It went very, very well. I mean, the stage was huge. Everything was successful.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, we are going to do far much more things. But I've given you just bits and pieces. So just bear with us when we're ready, because there are certain things that we're doing that we want it to be a surprise. So bear with me. We are going to do seriously, wonderfully well this year, but I will not promise you that Black Star Experience is going to do all the things that it promises within 2026. No. We will do stuff that is, people will be happy with it, because we know that these are things that people are looking for. We will do them. We've gone far with some of them, but I'd rather talk less.
Thank you very much, Rex Osumafo, who is coordinator of Black Star Experience. We are waiting for the
Thank you,
surprises, as we move on. Thank you so much. So, you just listening to Rex Osumafo. He is the coordinator of Black Star Experience. Still right here on Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. We are looking at the plans of the various agencies and associations and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. All right now, let's go to the office of the Acting Executive Secretary of the National Film Authority, Mrs. Kafui Danku Pecha. And she's not online. She sent in this voice recording. Take a listen.
Good day to our cherished listeners, creatives, and supporters of Ghanaian film. I am delighted to share with you the strategic direction and focus of the National Film Authority for the year 2026. At the National Film Authority, our mandate is clear: to regulate, streamline, and develop Ghana's film industry. But beyond regulation, our deeper responsibility is to ensure that film becomes a powerful driver of culture, jobs, investments, and national pride. Our strategic focus for 2026 is anchored on what we call Agenda 1% audience engagement to GDP strategy. Our target is to consistently engage at least 1% of Ghanaian population in the commercial consumption of local films. By doing this, we aim to transform the film industry's contribution to the national economy from an estimated 0.2% to at least 1% within the next 3 years. We believe that when Ghanaians consistently watch, pay for, and value Ghanaian films, we unlock an entire ecosystem from production to distribution, exhibition, marketing, tourism, and investment. To achieve this, our strategy is built around 4 key external priorities and 2 strong internal foundations. First, we are broadening for access and film exhibitions and strengthening audience engagement. For far too long, cinema access has been limited to only a few cities. In 2026, the NFA is prioritizing the rehabilitation of regional and community cinema infrastructure, the rollout of community and mobile cinemas, and the use of digital innovation to take film closer to the people. We are also increasing the visibility of local films through national campaigns such as Ghana Cinema Week, Film in School initiatives, and community film tours. Second, we are improving the policy and legal framework of the industry. A strong industry needs strong rules that work. In 2026, we are pushing for the passage of the NFA legislative instrument and advancing a film tax incentive policy to make Ghana more competitive and attractive for filmmakers and investors, both local and international. Third, we are raising production values, standards, and quality. Audience respond to quality. The NFA is leading the development of national production standards, expanding training and certification programs, supporting modern production hubs, and encouraging the adoption of new technologies. Our goal is simple: Ghanaian films must meet global standards while telling authentically Ghanaian stories. Fourth, we are positioning Ghana's film industry to attract investment. We're actively promoting Ghana as a film investment destination through an industry investment promotion strategy, film desk in strategic missions, co-production agreements, and the activation of Film Development Fund. In 2026, the government made a firm commitment of 20 million Ghana cedis to the Film Development Fund. This support will enable filmmakers to produce high-quality, globally competitive films that audiences will be proud to watch and pay for. Film is business, and in 2026, we're making that business visible, credible, and investable. Now, none of this can happen without a strong institution. Internally, we are strengthening our operational capacity, building data-driven systems, improving staff performance, and digitalizing our workflows. Just as importantly, we are enhancing our corporate image and profile of the National Film Authority, improving how we communicate, how we engage stakeholders, and how we represent the future of Ghana's film industry. Our message is clear. Film is not a hobby. It is an industry that creates jobs, tells our stories, attracts investments, and contributes meaningfully to national development. In 2026, the National Film Authority is working with filmmakers, exhibitors, broadcasters, brands, investors, and audiences to build a film culture that Ghanaians can see, access, enjoy, and proudly support. Together, let us watch and value Ghanaian films. Thank you.
All right, still right here on Joy 99.7 FM. You just heard Kafui Danko Picha, who is the acting executive secretary for the National Film Authority, also telling us about her plans or her plan for the secretariat this year, 2026. Now, let's go to the Commission on Culture, the National Commission on Culture. Yes, and speak to the acting executive director. He's in the person of Wakefield Akwaku. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kwame.
I hope you are doing well.
Mightily well. I'm doing so well. Thank you for asking.
Good to speak to you. It's the first time speaking to you on Showbiz A to Z.
Yes, I know that.
All right, so let's look at last year, 2025. What work did you do after your appointment?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. I take this opportunity to wish everybody a Happy New Year, all those who are found in the culture and art space, and especially for my minister, deputy, and all the authorities who are in the ministry who are helping us really find our footing and to be able to work. Last year presented me with the opportunity to interact with the whole of Ghana. You know, the National Commission on Culture has presence in every district in Ghana.
Yeah.
In every district, we have a cultural officer who is working with assembly. At the regional level, we have our regional directorates that have certain edifices, which many people come to, immerse themselves in cultural activities, entertainment, and you name it. The mandate of our institution is to promote and preserve the culture of this country. And so last year was good for us. We had to lay down our medium-term plan. That is the plan from 2025 to 2029. That was what we really focused on, and it helped us. Our mandate was also, aside the core mandate of the commission, His Excellency's mandate of the Black Star Experience, the 24-hour economic initiative, and then job creation. So we engaged in all those things. We made sure that our programs touched almost every aspect of our mandate. And so that's what we did last year.
Let me ask you, if you work in tandem with all the agencies and associations, let me ask how your role tied into Black Star Experience last year.
Great. Now, the Black Star Experience is supposed to be an immersive all-year-round activity, not for outsiders, no, for we, the Ghanaians, so that it attracts outsiders. And so for us as a commission, we developed a thematic program for each month to make sure that we run through it. There's no way we can do our work or preserve the culture of this country without touching the other agencies. And so what we did was to make sure that the thematic month rollout was shared with everybody. Let me explain the thematic month rollout. For example, in the month of January, we are looking at research and development. You know, we can't just go on and be performing.
You mean January 2026, or you mean last year January?
Every year January,
Okay.
because it's a medium-term development plan. Every year January, what we intend to do is to take stock, look at what we have researched into, some of the things that have been recommended to us, some of the things that have been very controversial. We'll look at them, and when we say we are looking at them, it's not like you sit in a classroom kind of setting. No. We engage in immersive ways to make sure that people will really learn from it. It's said that people learn from playing. And once we are the National Commission on Culture, we'll find various cultural ways to make sure we play around it. In the month of February, we are looking at drum language. Every part of Ghana drums. So the questions we keep asking is, what is the drummer saying? Why is the drummer playing what he's playing? Why that particular drum? We want to understand ourselves. And then we want to understand what is happening to our indigenous languages. So in the month of February, those are our high points. And this we are doing across the length and breadth of the entire country. In the month of March, we are looking at our independence, our heritage, and our history. Kwame, you agree with me, should you find yourself in Anyako, the history of the people of Anyako vis-a-vis Ghana is not the same as the history of the people of Adan. You see? So in that month of March, we, the National Commission on Culture, is encouraging all our practitioners, stakeholders across the length and breadth of Ghana to make sure that wherever you find yourself, it is the history month. We are talking history, okay? And again, we are looking at our independence story. Politically, we have been able to change the independence story so much so that Ghanaians are confused. When you take a currency note, you see 6 heads. You are told there's a big 6. You go and look at the film reel, the big 6 is different. What is the true situation? Again, when the NPP was in power, there was an introduction of a 4th August where people were confused. There's the need to tell the story without political angle, leaning. Okay, so in the month of March, let's look at our independence story. Who are those who really helped us attain independence? We will want to tell the story. Then in the month of April, we are looking at Pan-Africanism. What is Pan-Africanism? And who constitutes Pan-Africanism? We shouldn't just say I'm a Pan-Africanist. We need to understand it. And if there are others like us who are Pan-Africanists, let's see how we can have immersive experiences and grow as a people. In the month of May, we will be looking at the extractive.
You got to March.
No, March is independence, heritage, and history.
After March?
April.
Let's go to
April we are looking at Pan-Africanism. What it means.
Okay, the May.
Who is a Pan-Africanist? And how we can have immersive experiences, cultural exchanges with other Pan-Africanists. Then in the month of May, many years ago, when culture was revered and respected within our space, you notice that the extractives within the system respected the culture of the people. We want to go again and look at what we extract from the earth vis-a-vis our culture and how we can make sure we develop positively, okay? Culturally, it's the minds of the people, the mindset of the people that lead us to do a few things here and there. So in the month of May, we'll be looking at the extractives vis-a-vis our culture. Then in June, over time, there are people in Ghana here who never visit the hospital or who seldom visit the hospital. You go to the farm, they have a machete wound, they look for a leaf here and there, they rub it, and then, they have healing. How come we are not talking about these things, but rather we are promoting the traditional medicine of other countries while we also have our traditional medicines? So we will want to look at that. And again, we say we want to create jobs, we want to create opportunities. How do you create them? In a vacuum? No, let's identify those young, industrial, innovative people within our system who are doing well. Let's see them. Let's highlight what they're doing. Let's even patronize what they are doing to make sure that we grow as a people. So we'll look at the technological aspect of that in that month of June. Then in July, we are looking at the family as the smallest unit. Okay? What is a family? And this, I'm saying, it's across the length and breadth of Ghana. So whether you find yourself in Half Asini or you find yourself around Bumburugu, you are supposed to be doing what is peculiar to your area. In the month of August, we are looking at food, the celebration of food. Across the length and breadth of Ghana, we have festivals, and we celebrate our festivals eating. Is it not very, very wonderful that you go to a place around in Zimaland? They eat a kind of food and call it acheke. Okay, they eat it on daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you come to Accra, my people eat the acheke with palm oil during, in fact, yearly, okay, and call it takeaway. I mean, you go to other areas, we have Tumbani, we have a work plan. We need to make sure we look at our foods and pose ourselves the question whether we eat to live or we live to eat. Then in the month of September, we are looking at art in all its forms. Are we as a people saying that before the colonialists came, we were living in trees, on trees or just in the open? What happened to our architecture? What architecture did we have then? How have we been able to look at it? Okay, so architecture is a form of art. We have visual art. We have the other forms of art. We need to look at it holistically. Then in the month of October, there's an aspect of Ghanaian life which is missing, which is storytelling. And so by the Fireside series and all those things are missing in our daily lives. So we want to look at storytelling. The students who are into Studafest and other things, they should tell stories that we'll be able to hold. And mind you, Studafest was started by the commission, and we have only successfully held one national event. This year, we are rolling out the second one to make sure it's able to capture what we are looking for, the cultural relevance of the people of Ghana. So it is part of what we are doing in October. And again, we'll be collaborating with other agencies, especially the National Film Authority, to look at film and see how culturally relevant films are to us. We are not filmmakers, no. We are custodians of culture. So we want to examine our films in the lenses or under the lenses of culture so that it becomes more like agency to agency kind of thing. Then in the month of November, we are looking at fashion and accessories. There, Kwame, you won't believe it, we have one of the greatest stories that we are not telling as a people. It is often believed that in Ghana, when a business entrepreneur dies, the business dies with it. But when you go to Bonre and you go and get one of the best kente cloths, and you ask the weaver, how did you get it? How did you come to weaving? He tells you, my father taught me. Then who taught your father? Then he will tell you, his father before him taught him. So it means the weaving has transcended generations. Why haven't we taken these as examples to look at how businesses thrive traditionally in this country? Same can be said of goldsmiths, silversmiths, and you name it. Okay? So when we do all of these things in December, what should we do? Kwame, tell me. We should be happy. We should make merry. We should dance. We should play music.
Wakefield.
Playing music, yes, ma'am.
That phrase is quite funny.
No, it's true.
When you do all this from January to November, December, what should you do?
Play music, make merry. And
you do what? You play music?
The music. Yes, we play music. Even in playing the music, we are looking at different genre of music. Okay? That will be across the length and breadth of Ghana. We'll have masquerades, we'll have drumming and dancing. What have you? And all these things will be taking place in all the districts and all the regional capitals simultaneously. So that is what our experience is.
Wow, this is lovely. Taking us on a journey from January to December.
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. Now, let me ask you about the cultural policy. Do you have any update for us on the cultural policy?
We are very certain that this year the cultural policy will see the light of day. A lot of work had been done before I took office. UNESCO has helped. And so now we have the National Commission on Culture has a governing board. The board is going to have a final look at it together with the AG's department. And we are very certain before the end of the year we'll roll it out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wakefield Aku, for your time this afternoon here on Showbiz A to Z. All right, so Mr. Wakefield Aku is the acting executive director of the National Commission on Culture, and he has walked us through their plan for the year from January to December. Now, let's speak to Jackson Brefo. Jackson Brefo is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO. Let's talk to him now. Jackson, good afternoon.
Hi, Kwame.
Avishiapa.
I think come to you. I think it's a name Kwame holding na egusu pushi Gamro activities no.
I think it's a name for 100 Ghana cedis, need 200 Ghana cedis.
Say another year works Gamro ye process and then be determine sika ubenya.
Jackson, how did let's go to 2025. How did last year go for you at Gamro?
I mean, last year we were trying to set up foundation. So, and as you could see, we were trying to enhance our operations to meet international best practices. And international best practices demand that if you are an interested party, I think we should avoid using the word artist in our sector, because the moment you say artist, artists may not be an interested party in a work. So we're busily working with the World Intellectual Property Organization, with CISAC, through the use of the SafeNet tool, to align our operations to fit international best practices. So basically, that was what we were doing. And we crowned it with...
So we don't say artists in terms of music royalties or music rights issues again. What do we say? Interested parties.
Interested parties, yes, please.
Okay, continue.
So we crowned the whole operations with distribution, which was backed by data, and that was a pilot version which we did with the World Intellectual Property Organization to actually send statements to interested parties whose works were used in digital channels and also at live performances.
Okay, so this was what you did last year?
Yes.
In terms of running the organization, how did it go? As in running the organization for you to get royalties to give out to your members?
Yeah, I mean, Kwame, I must admit it has generally been a little bit difficult because all over Africa, I mean, I wouldn't even say Ghana particularly, the heavy nature of non-compliance mostly would undermine the work of the CMO because where non-compliance is very heavy. So we process royalties from users like your broadcasting network, which I have always commended for their aptness in paying royalties, and other users. However, the challenge has always been that Gamro as a private entity is challenged with the fact that we have to sue entities who are non-compliant. So, assuming, for instance, multimedia decides to be non-compliant in this financial year, what is going to happen is that every single music that was played, which has its interested parties, will not be earning money. And so, very much you would hear artists say, I got 150 from Gamro, I got X amount from Gamro. It has always been the processing of data and then payment we get from these channels, and heavily where artists have been earning. And I must admit, Gamro has not only been churning out 150 like you mentioned in your intro, but we've been paying heavily like 40K, 50K at a distribution cycle. I mean, mostly you will not see such interested parties.
So particular
these statements
interested
out.
parties, are you talking about that, or in general, as in a lump sum for a number of
No,
people?
I mean, Kwame, it's royalties. There are several types of royalties. And so most often the public generally are confused as to what particular royalties Gamro collects. So there is master royalties. Gamro does not collect master royalties. So master royalties go straight to the owner of the sound recording. If the performer or the artist, as we so call them, are, the owners of the sound recording, those monies, they don't come to Gamro. They go straight to the artist. Gamro collects publishing and then neighboring rights royalties. So that's just a part of the general royalties in the music ecosystem. So there is synchronization, which sometimes Gamro steps in to also administer for artists who don't have publishers and what have you. So there are several types of royalties, and I think it's high time we contextualize the conversation when it comes to the royalty discussion, because Vaguely, if you mention royalties, then I will say sync royalties, master royalties, publishing royalties, neighboring royalties, which Gamro does not administer all.
Does Gamro now have the license?
Presently, like we have discussed this matter, Gamro's license has not been revoked. It has not been suspended. I, in particular, am struggling to even come to terms with the situation now, and I've decided to refrain from using a particular adjective to describe the situation because now all the processes that need to be done has been done at the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. I waiting their
a moment, Jackson.
Action, yes.
You said Gamro's license has not been revoked.
No, Gamro's license has not been revoked. Neither has it been suspended.
What has happened to it?
So what happened was that it's a license that technically, if I show the license, it doesn't have an expiry date. However, the law demands that at every point or at every 5 years, you submit several documentation which is enshrined under the copyright regulation LI 1962 for the AG's validation, which the office, as I speak now, has done all. The AG has validated all these things. And when the AG validates all these documents, it is required within 14 days to communicate its approval or disapproval to whatever that you have submitted. As we speak, the AG has not communicated its approval or disapproval of the operations of the Gamro. And indeed, I mean, the AG and the government has also been collecting royalties for Gamro, which in effect is a blank levy, which we have been receiving. And with a statement that we published on the distribution cycle, you can see that this amount of money, the next distributable amount of money received was clearly reflected and also distributed.
Do you still get money from blank levy?
It's receding, actually. It's receding, I must admit. But then, Kwame, you know, there was a lot of advocacy right from 2019 to, for the AG to present a new LI, so to fix the problems that we're having. And now we have the copyright regulation LI 2469 of 2023, which other gadgets that is used, for copying, i.e. the mobile phones, the laptops, and all these things have been included. We had several engagements with Parliament and then Customs. That was last year for this LI to be included in the Fees and Charges Act for it to take effect. I'm happy to inform that they have given us assurance that this financial year, the copyright regulation LI 2469, which was promulgated in 2023, is going to take effect.
Okay, if I understand you mean this new regulation has incorporated, new technological things,
yes.
into the law, right?
Yes.
So that we can have pen drives and other gadgets also.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Now, what is the position of Rexomar at Gamro at present?
Rexomar, like you know, was the chair of directors, and he's presently putting up his bits together. Now, he's been appointed at presidential coordinator, Black Star Experience, and technically, he's been, as CEO, he's been informing me that, very soon, I'll lay and then I'll leave Gamro.
So can we now say that Rexomar has no portfolio at Gamro now?
No, he's a director. So if you go to...
Director of what?
No, Gamro is a private entity. And no, private entities, per company registration, Gamro is a private entity limited by guarantee. And so its ownership are the directors. So persons who registrations or who has been elected to occupy such positions are always there as a director until such a time that if it was an election and then he steps aside, then we change those information at the Registrar General. And then if he steps aside or he steps down, we also equally take measures to ensure that at least the company has two directors working at every point in time.
So under what circumstance will he lose this position?
Oh, he will not lose. So Kwame is, Gamro is established by interested parties or rights holders to say. So the company belongs to interested parties. Gamro belongs to Rexoma, Amanziba, Okekumante. I mean, they own the company. And so any of them can be a director to the company at any point in time if that person is so appointed or elected to occupy that position. And the organization takes necessary steps to make that effect at the Office of Registry of Companies. That's ORC.
I'm asking these questions because I've heard some people blame Rexoma for all the royalties you distributed last month. And so I just want to be sure if he has any power there at present. Now,
no, I mean, Kwame, I won't let you know, but you see, if you check corporate governance, except to say that day-to-day operations is being run by the board or the directors, this is not run by board or directors. Day-to-day operations is run by management. And like I have re-echoed, royalty distribution, and like we stated in our earlier statement in response to Fancy Ganam issue, royalty statements or royalty distribution is not dependent on artists. So, for instance, I am artist A. My works can be doing so well this year. However, if how Ghanaians consume my music changes next year, Kwame, I'm sorry, Gambo doesn't have control over this algorithm. And so it's a garbage in, garbage out system. The lifestyle of Ghanaians to consume works you have interest in will determine the publishing royalties or the neighboring royalties you receive. And so if you are not careful, we will always revisit this conversation of, let's say, a very big artist and his works are not being exploited heavily. Then the artist's royalties begin to recede. And again, royalties are not supposed to be static. So if you receive, let's say, 10,000 this year or 10,500 this year, either it goes a little bit higher next year, depending on what touched the algorithm. So if multimedia played your music so high, or they played your repertoire, which you have interest in, then your royalties are going to increase. If it's the digital stores that also, did a lot of plays, Ghanaians consume your music, then your publishing royalties are going to increase. I'm generally saying that there are a lot of factors that contribute into an artist getting X amount of money. And I don't think we should trivialize those matters.
Okay, thank you very much for the education. Now, what do you have to tell members of GAMRO or interested parties of GAMRO with regards to what you want to do for them or what is coming to them this year?
Yeah, thank you very much, Kwame. And every time I've always maintained that GAMRO's issues are spread due to understanding and then misinformation. People sometimes do not understand what governs or how CMOs or collective management organizations run. So mostly we are tempted to trivialize operations of such entities in our country. But then it is out of this that we are positioning the organization, at least, to be the best performing CMO in Africa, if not in West Africa. So as part of our plans, we management met on the 5th and 6th, to draw up a 5-year strategic plan, that the organization is critically going to follow up with other international organizations like African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, World Intellectual Property Organization, the International Confederation of Society of Authors and Composers. And one of them is stakeholder engagement and communication. As I speak with you, every quarter of the year, GAMRO is going to engage every single stakeholder, i.e. our members first, in what we call the GAMRO webinar series. So every quarter, so as we speak, messages are going to flood by end of January for our members, radio presented, and anybody who has interest as a stakeholder in the operations of GAMRO to register and join the webinar series, which is going to be done every quarter. So in March, in June, in September, and also in November. This attempt is to let people who are in the scope to understand, one, that if you are a member of, let's say, PRS or ASCAP, and you come to GAMRO, there are a lot of things you are supposed to do for you to receive your monies. Because the tools we are using now, if you are a member of PRS, which is a performance rights organization as we speak, you are not mandated to collect royalties from GAMRO. And this is an international practice. What we're going to do is that your money will be sent to PRS for you to claim those monies. And these are things that we are putting up for our members to understand these things, that these operations are governed by international rules and practices. In fact, the second part of our plan is our digital transformation. We're trying to move away from the manual operational systems where members are supposed to come to the office, register, and as I speak with you, any prospective person who wants to join GAMRO, and again, GAMRO royalties are paid based on membership, and so if you are not a member, your money will be seated in GAMRO's black box, what technically we call undistributed and unclaimed royalties. So you need to submit your works, then we match it in the WIPO Connect distribution pool, and then your royalties can be paid for you. And so digitally now, you just sit at the comfort of your home, log on to GAMROonline.org, and then submit your application to GAMRO. This will be processed and then will be submitted through the systems and data that we are using at the moment. The third bit is distribution modernization, which has been called in our introduction discussion. Distribution has to be modernized. The system of collecting monies and then batching them together, not having any basis for distribution, are over, technically over. Now we're monitoring all channels that are paying royalties to GAMRO at the moment. And at every distribution cycles, we are going to distribute based on statements. So as we piloted in December, any interested party whose works was, used in the digital,
space, right?
And also with the live performances, you get a statement. The statement has been emailed to every single person who was part of that category. In next distribution cycle, every single member of GAMRO will be receiving their statement. And the statement will come with the work that was used and the amount of money that comes with it. So that tomorrow when you're making a case that I receive X amount of money, we can also go to your statement and also prove to you that indeed there was money that was received calculated on this basis for you. The fourth bit is licensing enforcement. And generally, this has been a general problem in Ghana in this Fourth Republic. Private networks, and general radio stations and TV stations deliberately refusing to pay for the use of music. And generally, because GAMRO is a private entity, you are supposed to file a civil process at the High Court. Now, generally, we are going to publish names. So, Kwame, please, when we publish, please, let's have discussion on this. We are going to publish names of all radio stations and other non-essential users and brands.
Thank you very much.
Brands that are using music and are not paying in the Ghanaian jurisdiction. And we will make this out by the end of March, by the end of the first quarter 2026. Please be on standby.
After publishing the names and they still don't pay, what do you do?
We take legal action, and we are still speaking with the Copyright Office. They hold the prosecutorial powers. So while GAMRO will be filing the civil process, we are speaking with the Copyright Office to also file the criminal, because infringement on copyright has both civil and criminal remedies.
Let me ask you this one. In times past, we heard that we needed to have works of musicians or interested parties measured by units, right? Or in units.
Yes.
Do we have that now?
Yeah, that is what forms the basis of our distribution. So at every distribution channel, so let's say Joy FM, we have what we call the net distributable revenue. So that is the net amount that is going to every single interested party on that channel. However, we go through a formula of the net distributable amount of money divided by the total seconds music was used on Joy FM. When we are done with that, we are going to get the revenue unit factor. That is the RUF. Some people will say the CD per second unit factor. When we are done, we just multiply this by the number of seconds your music was played on each channel. The WIPO Connect tool has been integrated, so you don't need to do it manually. We just need to input the data, and then it generates the statements for us. So that's what we have been doing at the moment.
Okay, and I think we would let you go now.
Yes,
we have a lot to talk about in the coming months and weeks and months. Yeah, so we stay in touch with you. Thank you so much,
I'll be
Jackson.
on by sure.
Yeah, for your time this evening on Showbiz A to Z, still touching base with the various associations, institutions, agencies in the tourism, culture, and creative arts ministry. And we've done a number. I think we just left with 2 to go. Yeah. But before that, we need to bring in our panel members. A lot has been said. A lot has been said. Let me try to zap through this. And then I'll leave it to you to tackle it from whichever angle you want. All right. So we started with National Theatre, and then we asked him about timelines for the rehabilitation or the renovation. And he said, as of now, he cannot give us timelines. Yeah, because conversations and consultations are still ongoing with the Chinese, those who are coming to do the rehabilitation. And so we need to give them some time on that. We went to the Creative Art Agency. Gideon Ayikwe spoke to us about a website which is yet to be launched. He spoke to us about the data collection for the agency, all right? Also, sensitization and workshops even before that. And then he said they were going to massively work on projects. And some of these things he mentioned inspire the creativity in me. It's an event or a project. He mentioned establishment of offices in the northern belts and the middle belt, and then we have the southern belt to start with. He also mentioned Arts Beyond Borders event, which is for visual artists, and he said the flagship program will be the high school's creative contests. Yeah, he mentioned the Creative Arts Festival for a week. Okay, it will be held in a week, and then it will also involve huge contests. All right, we have the Highlight Festival. Also mentioned the USA or the United States Cultural Attaché, according to him, has expressed interest in having an event called the Create Honors. The Create Honors, like an award scheme for the creative industry. And then he says that will be before March. The launch will be before March. Then he also spoke about the LI for the creative arts. The Act 1048, he said the LI for that is at the advanced stage. He spoke about the fund for the industry, which was captured in the budgets last year. Creative Arts Levy also, he mentioned that. And then the website, okay, so we can check now, caa.gov.gh. Okay, we can check that. He said it's not up yet, but okay. And he said now we have a board chair for CAA, the Creative Art Agency, and he is Anthony Obeng Afrane. And then he also mentioned the Juvenile Creative Arts. Okay, let's go to Blackstar Experience. So Rexoma also mentioned the website. He mentioned strategic planning. He said they've been planning since last year, laying the foundation, planning for the future. Also mentioning that most of the things will come as a surprise to us. He mentioned they've gone through, they've done MOUs. Creative Connect Africa was done last year. It is the culture last year. Theatre in Kumasi, he mentioned, is under his care. And so if you have any questions on that, you can just speak to him. And most importantly, he said they had no budgetary allocation last year. And the nature of their office requires that they go out there and seek partnership, sponsorship, and financial assistance for the works that they do. Let me go quickly to Kafui Danku. Kafui Danku reiterated the 1% target for the film industry, as in people distribution, as in when the films are ready, the number of people that get to watch these films. 1% also spoke about the LI for the film industry, also in the offing, and then mentioned they also go into the school level to educate the pupils on filmmaking. She mentioned fund for the filmmakers and all that. Okay, so that's Kafri Danku also talking about the film industry. Wakefield Akwaku is with the NCC, the National Commission on Culture, and he also outlined the monthly programs. He mentioned from January to December, language, drum language, Pan-Africanism. We spoke about traditional medicines, family as a small unit, food, art, storytelling, collaborating with NFA on film in November, is fashion, and then music for December, spoke about. I asked him about the cultural policy, and he says that's also in the offing. Now, Gamro says that they've also been having engagements with powers that be, and so now things will be better, according to him, moving forward. They say they have a 5-year strategic plan as well, and then they would also get to a point in time they will move from manual to digital, and then they also roll out what they call the distribution, modernization, and licensing enforcement, so that if you are a user of music and you don't pay for the music you use, they will take you on seriously. So these are the things that I've captured. A lot has been said, but a few ones captured here in summary for your listening. Okay, so let me come straight and then let's get into the discussion. You can tackle this from anywhere, and I'm talking about Mr. Francis Doku. I have Robert Clark, I have Uncle Ken as well here. They've been sitting, listening all throughout, and I think it's time for them to also have a say. Let me start with you, Mr. Francis Doku. Uncle.
Hello, Kwame.
A lot has been said. I don't know where you start from. We have 2 more to go, but I want us to start
so
talking.
Much, man.
So that we bring in
so much.
So much. Would you want to start from Rexoma?
What is the English word?
Which one is that?
Something.
Which one is that?
Commune. I don't know the word.
Uncle Francis, you write a lot of English, so I think you know.
That's what I'm asking.
I think it's important to first acknowledge that most of, if not most, all of these organizations and or agencies, if you like, and I mean, apart from GAMRO, which is not one of the agencies under the ministry, are within just less than a year of taking over office. I mean, the heads of these institutions, and each person, if you take over an office, you need to properly understand the things that are there, and then on the basis of that you draft your strategy or your plans. And so this, in my view, will be the very first year of owning their own plans and strategies and all that. So it's important that we understand it from that point and look at how this year would be. I mean, some of them, when they spoke, mentioned about how there were difficulties, at the initial stages. Gideon Aikwe, for instance, mentioned how difficult it was. Fact that they didn't have an office to start with. Fact that they didn't even have any account. He mentioned all that, and among other things. Rex mentioned how they didn't have it, but they were created after the budget had been read, and so they had to struggle, within the first year and all that. But I think it's also important to note that these agencies are supposed to help, if not a person in the party, to achieve its promises that are made in the manifesto.
Yeah.
And there were so many of those that we expect to happen. So we would be expecting them to show us plans of things that they're going to do this year to make sure that those promises and that vision, if you like, of the president will be realized. I think some have said some of those things, but I think there are others that need to give us a bit more. I mean, for instance, one of the initial confusions, if you like, that we had, or many people had, maybe not everybody, but some people had, was about what role the Black Star Experience Secretariat was going to play in this scheme of, driving the tourism agenda for the nation. And I remember when Uncle Rex was here with us in the studio with Uncle Ken and all that, initial stages after the launch, some of the questions we wanted response to, or the angling from which the secretariat was going to come from, was how it will not conflict with, some of the other agencies that already exist. For example, the Ghana Tourism Authority, and others. I think when Abiku was here last week, similar question was posed by Uncle Khan, and he tried to answer in a way that will not. But I mean, you still realize that there's still that not very clear, if you like, distinguishing, features of that secretariat from others. And sometimes you feel that it crosses over into other areas. For instance, when we spoke about the National Theatre in Kumasi, and correct said he's responsible for it. Anybody wants questions, they should ask. I don't know if that's really it, but that's what he says. So, and Henry couldn't really respond to that appropriately.
Yes.
Maybe his role is just head of Accra's National Theatre. But what I know, I understand previously, is that the National Theatre is not just the building that sits in Accra.
True.
It's the concept of how the nation wants to drive theatre experience across the country. So anybody who is the head would, in my view, assume to be not just the head of the one in Accra, but responsible for the concept. I mean, there was even at some points the National Theatre on the go, where they take it to different places, and have those experiences and all that. So I would think that, Henry Herbert Mam would have been able to handle that, but, we're told that
he said he didn't have that information.
Yes, So, I mean, those are, from my view, some of the things that crisscross a bit, and we need to be able to, have a properly distinguishing features that the Secretariat would handle as the one that is supposed to help drive, I believe, all these, areas. I think when Mr. Wakefield Akwaku spoke, he kind of touched on, in my view, some of those things. And I feel that that's, what should be
yes.
across the different months, because he mentioned one each month and a theme for the month, and all that. And that's what I think. What I didn't quite get from him, maybe the question wasn't asked him, was what a state of the centers of national culture.
Okay.
He mentioned, for instance, that there's an officer at all
the regional
municipal
and
district assemblies and all that. But in terms of those places that were established to drive the cultural, agenda of the country, that our very visionary first president, my hero, some people don't like when I say that.
CPP's very own Francis Doku. People don't want to hear when you say you are CPP.
A lot of them were not given the attention they deserve, so they were run down along the way. I think there was some effort to try to revive them. So I don't know what state they are now. Maybe we need to find out that what is the state of the centers of national. Are they serving the kind of what you call it,
purpose.
Kind of objectives that they were set up to do in the 60s and 70s and all that. Is it even necessary for them to be where they are, and how are we leveraging their existence, to drive the cultural agenda? Because we are still a nation that believes in culture. We have said that Ghana is a destination for cultural and heritage tourism. That's what we are. We can't compete with others on wildlife. Even beaches that we haven't been properly able to invest in the beaches as others have to drive the kind of tourism, arrivals and receipts that they get from the beach. And so areas where we have very strong, if you like, abilities that can drive people is heritage and culture. And so we need to understand what role some of these things are playing within the communities where they were set up. The Nancy Chromes, the Kube Chromes, the Anochi Chromes, and all that across the country. We don't know what state they are now. And so maybe Mr. Kwaku and his people can let us know and what role they are playing in that. Another area, and you asked that brilliantly, has to do with the cultural policy.
The policy,
I mean, we know we have been discussing this for as long as I can remember. Anytime we come and sit here, we spoke about it, and all that. And so I hope his response that it would be done this year is something that we can hope. Unfortunately, give timelines as to exactly when we believe we have to. Maybe we need to find a way to get commitment on timelines that maybe by end of half of the year or by a certain time within the year, because you said in a year it will be done, we would have had some, assurance, if you like, that it will be done. So for me, those are the cultural side, and things. Now about Gamro, we have spoken a lot about Gamro. Or we have spoken a lot about copyright and and stuff like that for many years, from when before it became Kosga, from Joe Mensa's time to Sidi Kubuari's time to Carlos Sechi to Rexoma to all of that. We've always spoken about how to get rights for the people who deserve those rights. And I think that what Gamro was set up to do was to find a way to properly modernize how rights could be collected so that the beneficiaries would be happy with what they get, or would receive what is due them. Well, I mean, I think the uproar came when the distribution was done. Was it last month?
I think last month.
Recently, and there was a big uproar about the amount that some people received. And I think it is a problem of how the collection is done. There's been conversations about how to set up proper systems to get the right way that the users of material log, if you like, especially radio stations, TV stations, and other users of copyright material, how they log and properly account for what they are consuming. I think those are things that haven't properly be done. I'm happy that he mentioned about going to some digital means too, but we have heard this digital thing from the days of Carlos Sechi till now. So I don't know if we should, trust that will happen, and if the people on whose behalf they do the collecting would also, be happy with that, and then eventually they will benefit from him. So I think this year must be a year that we do better, than we have done, especially for the people, so that when you send them their rights or their money for the rights that has been used, it won't be like, Charlie, are you joking with us or something? And it will be something that is more appreciable. I would touch a bit on Mr. Gideon Ayikwe's place. I mean, for me, I think that there are a lot of things that he mentioned that the Creative Art Agency is planning on doing this year. But I was thinking that a lot of them, and I don't know if all that can be achieved, given the place they were when he took over, the place they are now. It took a long time for them to get even a board chair. I think today it's been confirmed that they have a board chair, and some decisions couldn't be made because there was no a board chair. But I was thinking they would just find a way to pick a couple of things that would be something they would try and implement. But from most of the things that he mentioned, I hope and I pray that they are able to implement all of them. But I think that for me, the key thing is to what the previous agency leadership was trying to, from Mark's time when we were trying to categorize who are within the scope and try to have a number, data, that says that these are the people within the space. I think that would be a very key area, because as of now, we do not know the number of people who are within the creative space or who call themselves as members of the Creative Arts Agency, and the data, to have, because if you don't have data, it's also very difficult to plan. And so I would think that would be a very key thing, an important thing to focus on, to make sure that we are able to find the people within the space, register them. And Gideon said a lot of things about how they're going to do registration, and all that. So I think that would be a very key focus. So there's a certain timeline that, by say maybe end of second quarter, we would have a number of all the people who are within the space, and then we can do other things. But I wish them well in the plans that they have, especially the High Life, festival that he mentioned. There've been conversation about Ghana not having a proper music identity. I saw that you dealt with some people on Facebook last week who you said were ignorant about and it's important that a Creative Arts Agency leads in that, to make sure that the education goes, and Gideon mentioned that we're going to go into educational drive. I hope they are able to do that. But also, all in all, I think that there must be some progress, but whether these progress are things that will lead us to where we want to be it's another thing to say. But I hope each of them will focus on some key things and not have too many things that they want to do, and then eventually a year will come, we'll sit here and we haven't seen much done in them. But if they focus on some key areas, I believe that we will. So my first comment to be that it's a first year, and probably now they have really assessed all the things, and so some of these things are things that they'll do, but we'll see how they progress from here and see how those things will be done.
Thank you, Francis Doku. Let me go to Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken.
You want to come to me?
Yes, I'm coming to you before Robert. Uncle Ken.
Very interesting.
Yes. Very, very interesting.
And Francis has touched on almost all
the
things. But like you said, you said that we can choose.
Oh, yes, anyone. From anywhere. Yeah.
Instead of, going to. And Francis has made serious points. Yeah, he's raised serious issues on that. I said last week in the studio. Miniji.
Hey, how fans?
Just in case they don't remember.
That I felt that there was a duplicity of function amongst some of these agencies and allied, offices in this industry. And today, after you speaking to all these people, I still believe that there is. I'm saying this because I remember vividly we being told that the Black Star experience was the vehicle to drive tourism in this country moving forward. So all the other agencies in pursuing their agenda had to have this in mind. That's how I understand it.
Yeah.
So almost all their projects or things will be under the Black Star experience. Is that how you also got?
That is the understanding I also got.
Yeah. Okay. Which is the mother agency? Which would you claim is the mother agency under the ministry? I would say GTA, because that's an authority. Who else is under the
GTDC.
Is GTDC an authority? No,
it's a company.
GTDC is a company.
And it's sister to GT.
But we have the film authority too.
Yeah. And we have the NFA. You're right. Yes, we have the NFA as well. Having listened to all these people and the plans that they have, I talked about GTA. We had Abeku here last week. Unfortunately for us, what we did with Abeku was look at the year 2025 and December in GH. Purposely. We did not discuss the projects that they had in mind looking forward with Abeku
in 2026.
In 2026.
Yeah.
But that is what we've had with almost all the we've spoken with today.
Sure.
I had the opportunity. I'm so happy. I just happened to be available for that conversation. And it caught my attention, and I listened to the conversation and made notes during that conversation between the corporate affairs director of GTA, a gentleman by name Asempa Chadide.
Bright Asempa Chadide.
Bright, yes, Asempa Chadide.
Yeah.
And that conversation was about GTA and what they had going forward. I made notes listening to the gentleman.
Amazing.
And I don't know why I did, but I'm like that. I always like to put things down and make notes
It's a British training.
And so listening to the other agencies today on this show, I said to myself, why are people telling us different things from what GTA are also saying? Let me go. Rex Omar on the Black Star Experience.
Yeah.
Said to you.
To us.
That, okay. Kwame person involved in
to us and the listeners.
He said to us,
yeah,
we should not drink the soup. The fufu was not ready. To certain questions that you posed. Okay. Others have also come to tell us what they are going to do under the auspices of the Black Star Experience. So then I asked myself, why would the lead person of the Black Star Experience not be able to tell us things that others have said are going to happen if his unit is the vehicle that is supposed to move tourism matters forward? So I was confused. I said, why? Why is Rex shying away from telling us things that are going to happen under his banner? Unless what they told us initially, that these things are going to happen under that banner, is false.
Maybe plans have changed.
He didn't say so.
He didn't say so.
Yes. He didn't say so.
He said they didn't have budget.
He said and he has said that consistently. And it makes sense because his unit was announced after the 2025 budget.
No, after the
was
media,
read.
the media, was it a media budget? Because the recent one, no, I think.
No, the recent one is the
Yeah.
budget for
For
2026. That one is captured.
I get it, yeah. So the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, when I listened to Dadzie, he said that as part of GTAs, and he kept referencing under the able leadership of their CEO. And he kept mentioning it every 2 minutes. Under the able leadership of our CEO, Efwa Wajeto, the GTA was going to build, for instance, a new 8 to 15,000 convention center.
The GTA?
At the G-Spark. Yes,
Okay.
he did say so.
The GTA will build a convention center.
That they were in collaboration with partners. We're going to build an 8 to 15,000 convention center at G-Spark.
Okay.
Now, the National Theatre is supposed to undergo
Renovation.
And the Black Star Experience headed by Rex, and Rex told you that his duty was to see to a new theatre
In
built
Kumasi.
in Kumasi. So then I said to myself, hey, 8 to 15,000 convention centers. It is said at the G-Spark, which is apparently close to the Kwame Memorial Park. I don't know about the G-Spark, but this is what he said.
I think it's rather close to Asumdwe Park.
Asumdwe Park.
Yes, yeah.
The castle room.
Yeah.
Yes, Asumdwe Park.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction. And if we're going to renovate the National Theatre, Kwame, we're going to build another theatre in Kumasi. How are we going to commit funds into putting up an 8 to 15,000 convention center?
Can I just add a bit to, or just, I mean, and that comes as a surprise for me, what you said that Asempa mentioned, because that place is supposed to be part of the Marine Drive.
Marine Drive, okay.
You know, right?
Yeah.
And so this comes as a surprise that we're building, or we plan to build, a convention center there. I don't know if that's part of the plan for the Marine Drive, or this is separate.
We all
So
don't know.
it brings different
Maybe,
conversations.
yes.
You know,
You're right,
Yeah.
and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because Kwame, don't also forget that there's redevelopment going on at the trade fair site.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes,
part
yes.
of that, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm.
was to put up such a center.
Yeah, there is a center there.
Which we're told was almost ready.
Which, yes.
Yeah.
So why the duplicity of so many things at the same time? Maybe we need all these things in town. I agree.
We actually do.
Yes, we actually do. But
From the MICE perspective.
Yeah.
If we have funding for them,
Yeah.
fine.
Why not?
We do, but do we have the ready fund?
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the question.
you know,
Mhm.
so I'm listening to some of these things. He also said that you mentioned this High Life
Festival.
Festival. He also said that in the month of March,
Mhm.
we are going to celebrate the 100 years of High Life.
A centenary.
Okay? He never mentioned a festival.
Okay, so we'll celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that we're going to have different. All I'm trying to bring up.
I think that was launched by the GTA last
year.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it was
But
launched.
apparently, according to him, this is the 100th year. It was launched last year.
Yeah.
But
It
this
was
is
launched
the-
for celebration.
Yes, but this is the 100th year. So the whole of the month of March, we're going to have High Life
Celebration.
celebrations throughout. And the cultural man told you that they're having a High Life festival.
It's Creative Art Agency.
Creative Arts.
Yeah.
What month did he mention?
He said it to
He
be
didn't
launched
mention
before
about-
March. He said it to be launched before. No, he didn't mention that.
He
He, said,
didn't
he
mention-
didn't mention. He didn't mention. He said High Life Festival. So
My
no
only
time.
problem is the non-alignment of the
The initiatives.
The initiatives. Thank you, Francis. You know, Mr. Chadide, yesterday, on Thursday, beat his chest and said that, listen, I am not bragging.
Did you hear
I
the?
am
Did you hear the
telling
sound?
you what we are going to do. They're now going to promote in other regions activities outside our known festivals. They want to look at other festivals. For instance, if you take Homowo, he made an example of Homowo
Yeah.
and Ogbechocho and said that outside Homowo or outside Ogbechocho, there are other festivals that happen in the Volta region. And he mentioned, for instance, the regatta, you know, these canoes.
Yeah.
And that they would want to support such other festivals outside the known ones to come up and boost tourism, which I agree to. He also mentioned Ojura in Ekwapim
Yeah.
and said that there are other things that happen in Ekwapim outside Ojura that they tasked their officers to look at and discuss with the locals as to how they can support such things, which I think is fair and fine if they will be doing that. He then went on to say that as part of their plans to awaken the tourism effect in this country, they're going to develop tourism sites. And as for these tourism sites, we've been here for years
Talking about that.
talking about developing tourism sites. He mentioned, for instance, eco lodges in places like the Kakum Park, where and others, and he said that what they intend to do is to put up lodges where there will be spas and other, you know, things, so that you just don't go and walk on the Kakum way, the way, and go away, but you can decide to stay and have a spa and visit a spa.
But did he say that the GTA was going to do all that?
Yes, but he was the spokesperson for the GTA. He is the spokesperson for
Okay, on which platform, please?
It was on P7. with Ola Michael.
So that people can make reference.
With Ola Michael.
Yeah.
The GTA would do all these things.
Yes. And you see, this is my problem. He initially introduced the subject matter of the Black Star experience. But after introducing that, he said the GTA, under the able leadership of their CEO, were going to undertake these projects.
We may need to do a part 2 of this.
I'm telling you, you know,
okay.
There's a lot more, he said, that they were going to do. He said, for instance, and he mentioned the month, so he said February, they were going to do chocolate month.
I think that is something they do. They usually around Valentine's Day.
But he said chocolate. And then March was
the music,
the high life music.
Okay.
April, he said that Kwahu is the only thing we talk about in Easter, and that outside that they want to have other events happening in other various regions, so that it is not only Kwahu, but Ghanaians can.
Did they mention Jakiti?
I don't know. And then he said that June, July was the big one. That I'm quoting him. He said June, July is the big one. What is the big one? June, July is World Cup. And so he said that the GTA was going to embark on something that they call 16 by 16. And the 16 by 16 was that they were going to have viewing sites in all 16 regions. Yes, where people can go and watch the matches. And during the games and matches, and he is not limited to only Ghanaian matches, because he said that the 16 by 16 was going to last for 30 days.
Yeah, the World Cup is 30 days.
Yeah. He said it was going to last for 30 days. And that there will be cultural displays, there will be bobo parties, there will be logo parties there to entertain viewers and people who will throng those areas, you know. I'm bringing all this up.
Yeah, very important because
to say that almost all the agencies have their own plans.
Yeah.
And I'm say Nampan
Nsenkwang.
Namdudro, sorry, Francis. Namdudro Nsenkwang. So if it can be possible, fair enough. But I think it was Francis who said it, or you, who said that we should not try and put too much at once, but do things and move ahead with time. So Kwame,
yes,
this is my contribution.
This is the GTA report.
And so I was very upset you didn't
I think you just filled in.
For me to pose questions.
Thank you very much, Uncle Ken. Let me come to Robert Clark. Robert, the ball is in your court. Kick it.
So let me start with what I've listened to so far.
Yeah.
You know, with respect to NFA, I know it's coming from stakeholder engagements. There were inputs.
Yeah.
I know GTA, even though we didn't really have an official sharing of what I want to achieve exactly, I know they have mastered that stakeholder engagements.
You mean NFA?
No, GTA.
Oh, okay.
They
had one on Monday.
Yeah, in fact, it wasn't just Monday. I hear it was Monday, Tuesday.
I think 3 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a few days?
Yes, with different stakeholders. And so basically that enables them to hear from the people on the ground. Because if you're talking about December and GH, for example, we know private sector is driving it. So if you want to create a conducive environment for them to be able to, give up their best, obviously you want to be engaging them so you can get information from them and then translate that into your plans, so to say. So I'm not too sure. I'm saying this because I'm not too sure, whether it was this approach was considered some of the planning that's has been done and has been shared, because I'm sure some of them we are wondering, so where is this one coming from? That kind of stuff, So that's my first point. With respect to National Theatre, I think that the portions where he doesn't have information about, even though I wish he would be able to share, because then it allows people within the space to be able to plan. I think one of the things I'm still looking for is the possible alternatives, if that exists.
Yeah.
And then the fact, so he was silent on that. But then again, I'm hoping that maybe, because the focus is ultimately to develop the concept of performing arts and to promote it, then they could have factored in the cultural centers that exist. And then maybe we say, okay, so because the National Theatre is not available or this and that, we have, we are working with the cultural centers, and so you can do X or you can do Y. Because remember, their mandate is not about the building per se, it's about the development of performing arts and promotion. So I would have loved to have heard something like that.
Cultural centers across the country?
Yes, across the country. I
Okay.
mean, yeah,
Okay.
And then, and in the light of that, the amphitheaters that were promised in the previous government, I would have loved to hear something, because again, it's about theatre.
Sure.
And it falls, I'm assuming that it falls under the theatre.
No, that falls under NFA.
The amphitheaters falls under NFA?
Amphitheaters?
Oh.
No, I don't think.
I think that the fund actually came from the tourism. Is it tourism development fund? No, there's a fund from the GTA for tourism. From the tourism side. That was given to. It was a grant. It was a grant from the World Bank.
Okay. So in effect, I would, they all spoke, but we don't have everybody speaking. But it would be nice to be able to hear about what is being done with respect to the amphitheaters, whether they are going to be completed, whether they are going to be deployed, and whether people of the arts can take advantage of that in any time soon to be able to advance the activities of our space.
Mr. Dadzie mention that?
No. Saturday did not mention amphitheaters.
Okay.
Not at all.
And then with respect to Creative Arts Agency, I think for me one of the key things here is the registration of the creatives, and I think Francis Doku highlighted that.
Mentioned that.
And I want to actually make reference to the 2026 budget. There was something that was read in it, I think point 1120, where they spoke about, so 19, 20, 21, where they said, Mr. Speaker, the strength of an economy lies in how well it understands itself. Accurate data is the compass of good governance, investment, and growth. And then it goes down to the 21 and it says, the GDP rebasing exercise will capture the new drivers of growth, including digital innovation, fintech, creative industries. My focus here is the creative
industries.
So the fact that they are recognizing that there is a need for satellite accounts to be created to account for the contribution of the creative industries to GDP. And that will inform policy and obviously affect, the kind of money that comes into our sector and all of that. Yeah. So I'm looking at this, I would say that the creative arts sector should own this, especially because it's been mentioned, even though it will sit with the statistical agency responsible for this, the creative arts agency to take interest in this so much so that they are pursuing it and ensuring that all the support that they deserve are given to ensure that this is facilitated.
Rob,
so some of these...
The registration aspect that you mentioned.
Yes.
Kwame, I still think there's a problem there. If you take
Why?
GTA, GTA registers hotels, restaurants, and so-called
people in the hospitality industry.
Tourism and hospitality.
Okay. NFA also register
film
hotels who
exhibition.
want to use their space for
exhibition.
Okay, so there's cross registration amongst them, and you know what people are like. People find it very difficult to register among so many different agencies. And this thing, I remember the last time we had the GTA, the other GTA guy, what was his name? No, the corporate affairs guy from GTA, who we used to have.
Kusi.
No,
Jones. No, Kusi.
Atakakra. Yeah. We put this matter to him about the double registration of certain premises, and he said they were going to, look at that. I also remember that when the last minister for sector, Ajapa Mesa.
Yeah, Mesa.
When Mesa took office and looked at most of the agency's laws, he said there needed to be a realignment.
Sure.
Do you remember?
Sure.
Of some of the laws, because people were doing. There was so much.
I think eventually they will take care of that because I've heard the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts mention this. She said this on a number of occasions. Yeah, even recently in an interview on City, she mentioned. So.
Okay. Right. So back to my point. So
to your point.
So the registration, yes, it has to happen, and we are looking at creatives, and we're also looking at the enterprises within the space. And when he was talking, he mentioned something about aligning with the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
And some values in terms of money
Gideon,
that's
right?
supposed to be paid. Yes.
Yes.
So I'm not too sure what that is, but it has to be done in such a way that it encourages people to register.
Yes.
Whatever it is. So I think that area we need to have that conversation. On the back of that, we need clarity on who falls within the creative space, creative art space. Which domains are we referring to?
Yeah.
What's the scope? Are we using the UNCTAD classification? Or whatever.
Don't we have the domain spelled out in this?
Okay, so yes, we need to understand exactly what the elements are so that people can identify themselves with this, the space, and then they can also register. So that for me is key. So in terms of publicity and everything they want to do there, yes, that's one of the areas we need to drive. Now, in terms of the programming as well, I was hoping to hear something that's highlighted inclusivity. Every time we talk, we mention some leads of the domain, and we leave out quite a number of them. You understand? So the creative arts is not just about music. It's not just about film.
Dance wasn't mentioned.
Let's relax the dance elements. But when you go in there are so many things
I understand
in the space.
That's a terror.
And for the most part, we don't highlight these sectors, and we need to be able to call them out.
Poetry.
Yes. So for a plan that is coming from a sector responsible for the creative sector, it would be nice to have some form of inclusivity, underlining everything that is planned, just so that we can highlight them and then give them some sense of belonging as well. Then the LI, yes, I think that it is important.
Yeah.
Most of the things he mentioned, he spoke about capacity building. But then I would also have loved to hear something about the cultural attaches. He just had a meeting with
one.
Yes, with one in the US.
who is here?
well, from the US embassy, right? Yeah. But what are we doing with respect to ours across the various embassies?
I think that's a conversation bigger than him.
That's not him.
That's bigger than him.
The Minister of Tourism,
level.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Yes, but at the end of the day, still you're looking at something that projects the people of the arts.
Sure.
And so you should be interested in all channels you can use for advancement. So not just him, but again, culture. So Wakefield's section 2 is also part of this. They should also, so all of them should take interest.
In that.
That's why it's their bosses.
Yeah.
But these are agencies.
But they should be interested.
So
I get you.
I get your point.
Then the Black Star experience. Okay, I think we've spoken enough about that because. Again,
you can add to it.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I thought we have monthly projects where each month should clearly spell out what we are doing, and then everybody jumps onto it because it's an amplified version of December in GH, and instead of having just December as a moment where we are celebrating the arts or driving tourism, we are going to be doing that for every month, and we are going to focus on different themes. That's what I thought. So when we're here, I just went on the internet and I looked it up, and I saw that the same thing was there, it was captured. So I thought we were probably just going to hear, so January you're doing this, February you're doing that.
Exactly.
And so let's just say, okay, so everybody who's joining us in the month of March, we are opening up our secretariat, if you would like to, submit your plans, just like we do for December in GH. Submit your plans for, January, submit your plans for February, the events you want to do, activities you want to do, that kind of stuff. And then eventually we'll have an all year round list of activities happening within the various districts across the country. So that's what I honestly thought we were going to hear. But then again, you'd realize that we didn't get that. So that's an area that for me is a bit grey, and I wasn't too sure whether the Black Star Experience is responsible for delivering the manifesto promise on the, what do you call it?
On the Black Star Experience.
No, the
Tourism.
other one. The building in Kumasi.
National Theatre.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I thought that should again be under
the ministry.
The agency responsible for the National Theatre.
Sure.
So I'm not too sure how that plays though. So those are some of the areas I'm a bit confused about.
Yeah, he's championing that. So
with respect to NFA,
who's championing?
Rex.
Yeah.
Championing what?
The theatre in Kumasi. I think this is public knowledge, right? Because he even mentioned he had gone to Kumasi to meet the regional minister. They had gone to see a site. That was immediately he was appointed. I think I remember so well. We even did stories about that.
My last point though, with respect to the Creative Arts Agency, and I would have loved to have heard something about how they intend to manage the fund. What plans are in the space,
management of the fund.
that kind of stuff. So even if they are waiting for the LLI to be passed, at the end of the day, you can have a plan ahead waiting, so that once the LI is passed, so to say, then you can execute.
Because I'm looking at that will stipulate how the fund is dispersed.
No, that is captured in the existing documents, so it's there. But in terms of how you want to work around it, who is obviously who is eligible and all of that is captured, but are you going to use it to engineer some hotspots?
So you mean the plan?
Yes, the plan for managing the fund itself in terms of execution. I thought maybe we should have highlighted that one as well. Then if you come to NFA, distribution for me is a key problem. If you speak to anybody on the ground, so I was hoping that we would have something on that as like a major area of focus. Distribution, how the movies are being consumed, that is important. So we need to be able to figure that out, because once we do that, it just opens up the economy in terms of what we are doing, and possible collaborations. The last time we mentioned possible collaborations with the Center for the culture centers, how we
centers for national culture
for exhibition.
Yes, to preview movies for the people to watch that kind of.
So they are in a shape to be able to.
That's it.
Yeah, but then you have some infrastructural advantage. Like you have something already in place that you can use to advance whatever you want to do, and then they have. I mean, if we have something like that, I'm just thinking that it would help and then push the agenda forward. With respect to Gamro.
Oh, before you go to Gamro.
Okay.
NFA. Kwame, if she was live, I would have asked you to ask her why the NFA and its agencies are conspicuously absent during December.
Okay, the film side.
Yes.
Okay, I think last week we mentioned somebody said
a few during December, because I think that they also have a part to play in the December in GH or whatever you choose to call it, where they can exhibit films.
That's a good point.
Want to call it Dirty December?
Dirty December.
We shouldn't call it
dirty.
Asempa
Dance, enjoy, travel, turn up, YOLO.
No longer call it Dirty December.
Oh, Asempa said that.
Yes, and that it is now December.
No, but Abeku has created an acronym for it.
Yeah.
Asempa
dance, enjoy, travel, turn up, YOLO.
Asempa said it is no longer.
Abeku was here last week. Was saying Dirty December, and he even mentioned it.
Okay. So, Robert, please come in.
I'm on Gamro. Let me just
come on. Gamro. So that
so Gamro, I was actually hoping he would say that they are working around the units pay for music play.
For how many years?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be progressive and we have to be positive. So I was hoping he would say that, because really, if my music is played and if you play my music for 2 minutes and the value is 1 CD. Then at the end of the day, if you count it, it's easier to say that I'm supposed to get X amount of money and somebody gets Y amount of money, that kind of stuff. So I was hoping to hear that. And obviously, another thing I'm also hoping that they would touch on is working with other stakeholders in the space for royalty collection. So they should also ensure maybe the publishers, because we don't have publishers in our space, or we don't have enough publishers in our space. So their weight within royalty collection is weak. We need to have that particular division within the space also very active. So maybe they should also collaborate with publishers in the space so that it can become heavily functional. The other thing that maybe they should also be interested in is the AI conversation, because who receives the rights when at the end of the day the song was created?
I think he mentioned that when he said that the Attorney General and the other stakeholders had met to bring out the new LI, which incorporates all the new developments. So I suspect AI will be part of it. I suspect, because he mentioned pen drive and other new forms of technology. So I suspect that should be part of it.
It was on the back of blankets levy, right? But this is about the royalties.
Okay.
And what term did he use for it? He said what something partners.
Is that distribution modernization?
No. In terms of the people who are receiving.
Oh, interested parties.
Good. So interested parties with respect to if you use the AI platform,
how does it become an interested
So we need to understand all of that because it's key. Let me make my controversial, probably, I don't know if it's controversial statement, but I think that with respect, so Gamro really, they work directly with the Copyright Office, right?
Yeah.
And I was checking the mandate of the copyrights. I was checking the mandate of, is it the Ministry of Defense?
Attorney General.
Attorney General.
Ministry of Justice.
Ministry of Justice, good. Yeah. Ministry of Justice, perfect. And its focus is the law. So it's about the law. But when you go to the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, it's about the people, it's about the economy, it's about the performance of the economy, it's about the performance of all of that, everything is in that particular space. Now, IP, which is one of the key components that underpins the economy of our sector, is under the Copyright Office, and that is sitting in the Ministry of Justice, and they are about the law.
The IP is law.
Good, but it is, you see, just like we have laws for everything, but then again, for the purposes of economy of purposes of growth, or the benefit, the people who is supposed to benefit, you would want to situate it where the people are thinking about it every day from the perspective of usage.
So where would you want?
So I am thinking that it should, if possible, we should discuss a consideration of it moving to the Ministry of Tourism.
Moving the Copyright Office to tourism.
It is not possible. We're talking law.
These people have 13 agencies already who are.
But
we have to come and add one more.
No, his preamble, he said he wanted to be controversial.
And we are talking law.
No,
I love this controversy.
IP
is law.
I love this controversy.
I understand that IP is law, but law is not used by itself. Law is used by people.
Yeah, but you need people who send cases.
All right.
Who understand?
Yeah, but
to a place where they understand the dynamic.
Yeah,
okay.
But IP translates into economic value.
I think we should. I think we should reserve this for a conversation on another day.
The law will protect.
Thank you very much. Show 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. We've been speaking at length on various issues bordering on this creative industry, tourism, culture, and creative arts. We've spoken to some heads of various institutions or agencies and associations in the industry. We have two more to go. We have Mr. Lawyer Ebenezer Hiato. He is the director in charge of the Bureau of Ghana Languages. And then we also have Professor Kobi Mensah. He's the acting director for the Ghana Tourism Development Company. We'll be speaking to them after this.
Jack was on his way home Just another evening drive. Lorraine was crossing the street. Just another walk to the shop. But in a split second, everything changed. One moment could save a life. Accidents keep rising and casualties keep climbing, leaving families in pain. Remember, avoid drinking and driving. Wear your seatbelts, helmets, and look both ways before crossing. Road safety is in your hands. The Road Safety Campaign is brought to you by Yuda, Ghana's #1 services app. App Bako Services Bebre, Universal Motors Limited, driving trust, delivering excellence, and powered by Joy FM, Adum FM, Asempa FM, Hits FM, News, and Joy Prime.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour.
Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Hits FM on Mondays at 5:30 a.m. and Joy Prime TV on Saturdays at 7 a.m.
Welcome, contestants, to the final round. Winner takes all. For 1,000 points, all you have to do is give me the correct answer to the following riddle. I am one place, but with the right connection, I can be 1,000 other places. Some people call me magic. Some people call me a feeling. In me, you can be anything you want to be. I'm the most common and yet the rarest place in the whole world. What am I?
A church.
Oh, wrong. Contestant 3, what's your answer?
The answer is home.
Correct. Congratulations to our winner. Contestant 3.
There's no place like home. Connect your home to super fast internet with affordable data bundles from MTN Home. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh or your My MTN app to sign up today. MTN.
Feel the excitement. Enjoy the conversation. Come with us on this exciting journey of growth and personal development. We challenge you to break the status quo, step out and do big things. Catch host Reverend Albert Okran as he vibes with CEOs, experts, and changemakers. Right here on Springboard, your virtual university. Now showing every Sunday at 9 p.m. on Joy News TV, 7 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM, and streaming online on Facebook and YouTube. You can't miss it. Partners, MTN Ghana, Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Grows Program. A collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Media partners, Joy FM, Joy News TV, and Graphic. Springboard. Your personal value will shoot up.
Here's when we turn around. Here's where we turn around.
Showbiz A to Z on Joy 99.7 FM. And today we are speaking to the heads of the various agencies, institutions, and associations in Ghana's tourism, culture, and creative art space. In a moment, we'll be speaking to lawyer Ebenezer Ahiato. He's acting director of the Bureau of Ghana Languages. We'll also speak to Professor Kobe Mensah, acting CEO of the Ghana Tourism Development Company. All right here on Joy 99.7 FM. In the meantime, are you a business owner looking for a smarter way to keep an eye on your shop? Or maybe your restaurant, your office, or warehouse, anytime, anywhere? MTN Business Eye is here for you. So keep your business secure anytime, anywhere with MTN Business Eye, the smart surveillance solution that gives you total visibility and control. It's powered by Wi-Fi, SM connectivity, cloud storage, and solar energy, so your security never sleeps, even when the lights go out. So enjoy 24/7 monitoring, real-time alerts, two-way audio, and reliable backup, all at affordable rates. Just dial star 5060 hash today and keep your business in sight, always with Business Eye. Tomorrow is a Sunday. We'll be coming your way with Pentecost Hour with the chairman at exactly 1:30 p.m. here on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's not get to the phone lines. Let's speak to lawyer Ebenezer Ahiato, Acting Director of Bureau of Ghana Languages now. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm good, and I hope you are fine too.
Awesome. Which language should we speak?
Several languages.
Okay.
Yeah. Say it again.
Efonama.
My phone no pa. Let's on hala phone.
Nyacha me phone. Onya saminya
Ipo fa yesaminya.
Mama maybe. Obake.
Obake.
Okay. Let's.
Okay.
I was just trying to see if I can speak a number of Ghanaian languages.
Yes.
Since you are in charge of the Bureau of Ghana Languages, I was just trying to see if we can do a number of them.
That's fine.
Okay. So at the Bureau of Ghana Languages, what's your mandate?
Good. So let me thank you for the opportunity and to say Happy New Year to you and your team, your listeners, the viewers, and of course to the heads of the ministry, the minister, the deputy, the chief, and the directors, and of course my staff as well. So at the bureau, basically, mainly three things into broad category. You know, we are the only state institution mandated to promote, develop, and to preserve the indigenous Ghanaian languages. So it's about indigenous Ghanaian languages. That is basically what we do. So that when it comes to, for instance, the preservation and development, we translate official state documents. We develop orthography. Anytime there's a new language that has to be developed, the bureau is involved. We do the standardization and certification. So that currently, as I speak with you, there are some languages we are developing. One is we're doing that in collaboration with other stakeholders. For instance, the Ahanta language. We are developing the Ahanta language, and the MP Honorable Kukua has been so good. We've been working with her to develop the language. So the orthography will soon be ready. So that is how we preserve and we develop Ghanaian languages. Now, when it comes to the promotion,
a quick one. So it means that when you say you are developing the language, you are creating characters for that, as in, let me use a layman's language, as in, these are languages that previously did not have any accepted ways
of
writing.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not taught in schools.
Okay, I get it now. All right, continue.
So that is when we mention orthography, that is basically what we are referring to. Yes. Yes. So again, when the other thing the other mandate has to do with promotion, and we are supposed to make sure we promote our indigenous Ghanaian languages. And how do we do it? We have to organize programs, dialogues, educate Ghanaians on the essence of our language. Why do we have to speak our languages? Why the need for our languages? Do we have to allow our languages to die? No. So that is part of our mandate. And look, at times it is not only limited to Ghana. We have to be sure that our languages are known when you go out of the jurisdiction. People also know us through our languages. You know, language is culture. So that is our mandate.
So how do you do that
internally?
Yeah, how do you do that external promotion?
So that if you look at, for instance, GTA, they have lots of programs. And also, if you look at National Commission on Culture, anytime there's any program, especially something to do with our culture, don't forget we do what we call language tourism. So we also take part in some of these programs. So we take opportunity to go have a stand and to, you know, and of course, when we go with some of our books, and people come, we engage the people. We let them know who we are, the languages we have, and let me tell you, we even have when you come to our premises, we have classrooms where we have short lessons, some teaching for persons from the diaspora who come here. And maybe for some 1 week, they want to know about our languages. They want to learn a bit about our languages. So it's all part of the things we do to promote the language externally, and of course within Ghana as well.
That's a good one. And so let's get into 2026. What plans do you have in further promoting Ghanaian languages, both in Ghana and outside Ghana?
So if you look at last year, for instance, we organized what we call the Ghanaian Languages Dialogue. You will recall that the Honorable Minister of Education gave a directive to some of the heads of, the GS, heads of the GS directors and headmasters, headmistresses, as to the fact that the local languages should be spoken at the lower primary. There were a lot of issues in the media. You're fully aware. So we had to organize a dialogue on that. In fact, we had it at the National Theatre, where we invite major stakeholders. So there were a whole lot of people. The media were there. We have practitioners of the local languages. They were there. We have some of our prominent professors. When it comes to the Ghanaian languages, they were also there. For instance, we have Professor Ejekum, who we all know as an expert in the Ghanaian language. He was there. We had Professor Atintomi. Avia and so, and other prominent Ghanaians. In fact, there was this lady, the first lady to have obtained a PhD in the Ghanaian language. I've forgotten her name. She was also there. So we had a discussion. We had 2 sessions where, questions were asked as to why the Ghanaian language. Because, there was an argument somewhere in the media. Why are we bothered about our languages? After all, languages are Latin. It died. So why are we bothered? But you see, the state is extremely concerned about our languages. So we took advantage of it to educate Ghanaians, to let Ghanaians know that, look, and I said something over there. I said something. The way I am able to speak the local languages, I think it's as a result of somebody's work. Somebody actually worked on me. My parents. So we admonish parents to go ahead and do same. We should endeavor to speak our languages with our kids in the house, as our parents did to us. So at the dialogue, we came out with a white paper, and I believe same has been presented as to the way forward. What do we do to basically make sure that we preserve our languages? So that is one thing we did last year. And let me tell you, for this year, somewhere around June, July, we are going to have what we call the Ghanaian Language Festival. We are going to have a huge festival.
Great.
Somewhere June, July. I mean, we are yet to agree on the date, but it's something we are going to have. And I was telling my people that we'll send a delegation, and we are confident that the president would listen to us. We want a situation where a particular day will be declared a day for the speaking of only Ghanaian languages, so that everywhere you go, the offices, everywhere, even in Parliament, I am aware that the speaker, was so much concerned about the Ghanaian languages. So we even sent something to him, even last year, to have an engagement with him. So this is something we are doing, and we are confident that when that particular festival is being launched, an announcement will be made that this particular day, every Ghanaian is supposed to speak his or her language, the mother tongue. And you see, if we are able to do that, obviously, people will come to the realization, what is it about these languages? Why are we doing that? I am telling you that there will be a rethink about the need for us to use our local languages.
Right.
The Friday West. Now we have a Friday West.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go on Friday, and it's not only the public institution, even private entities. It's just a simple statement from somebody admonishing Ghanaians. It's not a law, it's not binding on anybody. But as it stands now, we have it. So that is what we are going to do, and that is around June, July. We are yet to agree on the date. But our immediate, if you ask me, our immediate activity will be the celebration of the International Mother Languages Day.
Sure, we will bring you into the studio one of these days to have a very detailed conversation with you on languages, Ghanaian languages. Thank you so much, Lawyer Ebenezer Ahiato, for your time this evening here on Showbiz ATC Joe 99.7 FM. Please let me also remind you that, let me tell you that we're supposed to have had a conversation with Professor Kwame Mensah. Professor Kwame Mensah is the acting CEO for the Ghana Tourism Development Company. Yes, but as of now, we are having some challenges reaching him to speak to us on phone. Yeah, early on, he agreed to speak to us, but unfortunately, we cannot have him on air now because we can't reach him as of now. Now, let me come to my panel members. And take their final words on this topic for today. Let me start from Robert. Robert, sir. Yeah, before we go, finally, what do you have to say about all the things that we've spoken about so far?
I think the conversation has been very useful. I love conversations of this nature because for every institution, I know what we all do is clearly plan for the year, and you want to share that with stakeholders, and you will follow that particular plan all the way through to the end of the year. So for me, once we have this in place, for those who have shared, for those who have not shared, we're looking forward to it. But once we have it in place, it makes it easier. Mid-year, you can have a review, you can update us, keep the people, the stakeholders in the loop, more or less, so we understand what's happening. And then it also becomes easier for people within the space who have things to do with respect to your plans to knock on your doors and come and contribute their quota to specific areas of whatever plans that you may have that we think that we can contribute to, or partnering these agencies to be able to ensure it's successful. So I think that it's in a good place, and I would encourage them to do more of that. Because our sector, we are very loud. So
we have the mic.
Yeah, we have the mics, and there are people who have brands. They speak 1-2 million people are hearing, are listening. So I mean, it's very important that these
Good.
conversations are held. The only thing I had in mind
Yeah.
when we were having this conversation was,
Yeah.
so what does the National Development Planning Commission, is that the name?
Which one?
The NDP. NDPC, yes. What's their role in all of these? I don't know. So I'm just tabling it.
Robert.
Uncle Ken.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I was very happy to learn that the GTA organized the stakeholders engagement.
Yeah.
And like you guys have said, it wasn't even one day.
Yeah.
It was a few days.
Yeah.
And one of the issues they discussed was the high cost of
Pricing during the
December
yeah.
GH. And I was so happy because last week when I raised exorbitant fees charged by Uber drivers, you guys said to me I shouldn't. Apparently, it was a huge topic.
No, we said don't use the word extortion. Extortion.
No, we agreed.
Yeah, you said exorbitant is fine.
What is the meaning of extortion?
Extortion is
it's.
No, but if you say someone is extorting you, they are.
Yes.
It is not too strong. It is very lightweight.
If the reason for that high pricing is okay, you continue.
I've also gone ahead to say that they're planning to register hotels, restaurants, Airbnbs, and put them on their website.
Yes.
During that period, so that people would have a list of those services and their prices before they decide to come to Ghana and enjoy them.
But you can't have a price of Uber.
Because it's system generated. Please, can I read the definition of extortion?
Uncle Ken, please. 1 minute.
I read the definition of
1 minute
extortion?
more. Uncle Ken, please, 1 minute more.
The practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats.
This one is not extortion.
It's false.
Very important conversation. Thanks. Coordination is key. Please, the presidency should ensure that there is no confusion about oversight. National agencies should facilitate actors or activities already going on in the sector and take care not to crowd out the private sector and industry players. Important to avoid each agency getting too involved in implementation. Lots of background policy, legal and administrative work needs to be done in the first half of the year to tie down loose ends. No name to this one, but thank you for sending in. Uncle Francis.
Well, I think it's been a very, very interesting conversation. We've had some very good projections and plans for the year. There are others that I think that we could get better plans. But I was a bit disappointed that we didn't have the GTDC's view on this, especially because some of the things that Uncle Ken mentioned that Asempa said on the other interview, I think are within the domain of the GTDC. I mean, developing a convention center, even the National Theatre that we mentioned, and all that, because the GTDC's role is investment and development of tourism, facilities. GTA's is to help market and promote, those things that are and register and regulate some of the players within the space. And so, I think that there's a need to find a way to have these conversations. I know, for instance, last year, some of the things that GTDC, the marketplace and then the Accra by Night. And
they did a number of things.
But I think more than that, we would want them to show how they are helping us drive investment and development within the tourism space.
Good.
The conversation around the Marine Drive is taught. Nobody's speaking about it anymore. But this was some big things that we're having conversation around for
we're going to have a conversation on that on one day conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Because I hear there are various dynamics to the whole operation. At a point in time, it was under the presidency and all that.
There was a time it was in DTDC. There was the presidency. Where is it now?
All right.
And we need to find a way to
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis Doku, to you, Robert Clark, Mr. Hey, why did I say Uncle Ken? Because I said Mr. Kennedy. Two bun dog, Uncle Ken.
No, he's at the mall. He's at the mall.
Okay, let me say greetings to the Chief Operation Officer of Bedrock Insurance, Madam Yvonne Charmaine. We are glad to you listen. Oh, she's listening. Yeah, we're glad you listen to us every Saturday. Yeah, please don't stop. Keep on listening to us and have a good evening. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in to Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. I did this together with Uncle Ken, Robert Clark, Mr. Francis Doku, and all the agency heads that we spoke to on phone as well. Not forgetting production assistant Anita Tay. We had Kweku Emisa on social media as well. And this show was brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go and Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. We are back next week.